Garrison should try and reach out to me and sort of make amends.
I mean, we're gonna have to wait for the kids to all sort of come to their own whatever.
I received some texts and some phone calls from Gabe and Garrison, basically blaming me for what was going on with the family.
There's this unwillingness for some of the family to accept other members of the family or to make amends with other members of the family.
I didn't know he was doing that. I just want to clear the air with the boys. I love those boys.
Like, it feels like I'm being forced to choose between my children and this group. I don't feel like my children are welcome.
When have they not felt welcome?
Well, Cody's basically told me they can't come for Christmas unless they do a big apology. And they're like, well, hell no, we're not gonna do that.
The issues between me and Gabriel and Garrison basically have to do with lack of support or adherence. I'm not going to have Garrison and Gabriel around like the alcoholic family acting like
you
nothing
have to
happened.
know, Garrison and Gabriel are not the only children who have problems.
I had one of the kids actually call me and like asking me, and I went, this is not me. I didn't make up these rules. And I very specifically pointed out that their dad, Kody, is not somebody to be run by one of his wives. Why in the world would anybody think that I'm somehow behind this? Like, why me? They don't know who I am if they would think this of me. That I would try to cause some sort of disharmony in the family.
You got rules and regulations for work. Why can't we have that for a family staying healthy?
Because we're a family. Why don't we just verbalize it and trust each other?
Therein lies the problem, right there.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Friday, April 5th, 2024. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Well, there's been news reported by multiple outlets that Flagstaff PD has closed the investigation into the sudden passing of Garrison Brown. And while it appears as though it's closed, they are still waiting on the medical examiner to release any details about whether or not he had any alcohol or drugs in his system. Now, back in March, when I requested a copy of the police report, I also requested copies of basically everything. So made a full FOIA request for any of the text messages, photographs, and any of the body cam footage redacted, and I received a copy from the police department actually today, which included more details about who Garrison was contacting right before everything occurred. So in the original police report, there were some details provided that an officer interviewed Janelle, and Janelle had told them that she should have gotten Garrison help. She knew that he was struggling. Her son was estranged from his father. The reason why the estrangement was brought up is because the final text message that he sent was sent to a group text to people that they worked with, including crew members of TLC and Kody Brown and Dayton Brown. The text message that included Kody and Dayton is what alerted Janelle that something was wrong, and is why she responded to him a half an hour later. But to be clear, Janelle was included in that group text. So were several of his brothers and other family members. The only people that responded to Garrison that night were Logan and Janelle. The text messages that Garrison sent are interesting, and then the conversation between her and Janelle and Garrison indicate that he had been struggling for quite a while, and she was aware that he had been struggling with ideation, and that the final thoughts that he was having right before he took his life were related to the loss that he had experienced in regards to his family. So police had taken a screenshot of his phone, which included all of his text messages, and he had a group text with his brothers. He had a group text he had sent to a group of people that included his mom, Gabe, Logan, Kody Brown, Dayton Brown, the producer from Sister Wives, I think one of the cameramen, and that is where he sent, I want to hate you for sharing the good times, but I can't. I miss those days. And he had also exchanged some text messages with someone that he works with. And when you look at the actual screen, you can see that he had not opened the last text message that his mom sent, nor did he respond to a text message from his brother Logan. According to his phone, he actually sent a text message at 8:04 p.m. to a group of people that included 9 people, all from either the Sister Wives crew or family members of his. The text message read, I want to hate you for sharing the good times, but I can't. I miss those days. There's the initials CB, DB, GB, KB, T, D, and then there's a photograph of Logan. Kody Brown was included on this text message. Logan was included on this. Gabriel was included on this. Dayton was included on this. It appears it could have been Christine Brown, and then T could have been Tim, the producer. DM could have been Douglas Monroe, who is actually the camera guy for the show. When he sent that message, it was 8:04 p.m. When Janelle received the message, she responded to him. And at 8:34 p.m., she said, are you okay, honey? And he said, I'm not. And she said, I wondered what's up. You've been on my mind all day today. And he said, why's that? And she said, no idea, you were just there. I was worrying more than usual. And then Garrison responded, you're fine. I gave Gabe my firing pistons a while ago. I know you guys worry about my suicidal tendencies, but I have no firearms in my house. And she responded, I worry about you as a whole person, honey. Are you at work? And he said, I called in sick. I'm at home. And she said, okay, what's up? I saw the text you send to that troop. And then his next response to her, and he said, I was going through old photos and I saw that. And I figured it was a photo from the last couple days. And she said, oh, honey, I'm sorry. There has been a lot of loss. And then he said, that's true. And then that's the last message he sent to her. She wrote, will you be okay tonight? Want to come over and crash here? I have a really great twin bed cot, really comfortable. I can even cover an Uber if you aren't good to drive. So she appeared to have been concerned that not only was he having suicidal thoughts, but also she was concerned that he might be intoxicated. He confirmed that he was struggling with ideation and tendencies. And then he actually told her that he had given Gabe all of his firearms. Unfortunately, that wasn't true because they found a firearm there. The weapon, which I've seen photographs of, did not have its case in it. So it was it looked like it was unloaded, but it obviously had at least one bullet in the chamber. And then at 8:45 p.m., after Garrison stopped responding to her, she said, hey, would you guys check in with Garrison tonight? And Hunter responded, is he in a bad spot? And Logan said, did something go down? And Janelle responded, I don't know. He has been responding to me, but he's quit now. But he says he isn't okay. He called in sick to work around an old picture of paintball with the crew and then sent a weird text to some of the crew, Dayton and your dad. I believe round an old picture is found an old picture of paintball with the crew. Logan then responded, okay. And he said, thank you, honey. I told him he's welcome to come sleep here. I can Uber. And she said, sorry, next step just populated. And then Logan said, Mama, can you send the text to me that he sent you? And then she provided the text messages that she received from him. And then they took a screenshot of the copy of the text message that she had received from Garrison at 8:04 p.m. So she had been included in the group of people. It also looks like Caleb. It looks like Caleb might have been included in that group text as well. So she sends a text to him at 8:45. His last message to her before he ends his life is, I'm going through old photos and I saw that and I figured it was a photo from the last couple days. So he found a photograph of all of them playing paintball with crew members and members of his family. And then she said, "I'm sorry, there's been a lot of loss." And then he said, "That's true." And that was the last thing he said. So he found a photograph of playing paintball, and the last text message goes to these people from the crew, but it also goes to his dad. So a lot of you had said that the message felt too personal for crew, and you felt like he might have been sending it to his dad. So I'm not sure why they sort of left that out of the original police report, that the message was sent to his dad. That could explain why Janelle told police that he was estranged from his dad, and so him sending that message to his dad was not typical because they weren't communicating. Logan responded to that text message too, and he said, "Hey brother, give me a call when you can. I got an off text from you and I'd like to check in." Nobody else responded to that text message, by the way. When you see his phone, that's opened, you can see that there had been no responses at all. Like, just that text was sent, nobody responded to him in that group text at all. So Kody had received a text message from him and didn't respond. Because he has an iPhone, it would also appear that he was either sending a group text to people that had Androids because his message is in green, or that another iPhone user had him blocked. So if you're an iPhone user and you send a message to somebody who has you blocked, the text message will come back to you green. So he was either sending this to Android users or to iPhone users that had him blocked. And it's not clear which is the case. His mom responded, Logan responded, but nobody else responds. And according to the other people that he spoke to that day, he spoke to a group text with his brothers, which includes Logan. It's really hard to make out, but you can see that there's Gabriel Brown, Peyton Brown, and Hunter Brown. So the 5 brothers are in a group text together, and they were apparently chatting that same day. Roommate Cheyenne, somebody named Lee, someone named Wyatt, and the Wyatt one is interesting. The Wyatt is someone that he works with. So the morning that he woke up that day, he actually sent a text message to someone that he works with, and he said, "Hey man, I've been vomiting blood this morning, and I'm gonna take myself to the clinic probably, or the best time, but I'm gonna call in sick today. I'll see you next week." And he said, "Okay, thanks for the heads up." And he said, "Yeah, man, my bad. If I was a full-time officer, it may be different, but I gotta watch my health till then." And he said, "I get it. And you are considered a full-time officer. You're just in training." "Right on, man. Well, soon, brother." And he said, "Thanks, G." So I'm not sure if he actually was vomiting blood, but that's what he told the person at work when he called in sick. So he doesn't go to work that day. He calls in sick. According to Rehab Guide, there's a lot of different reasons why you might puke blood after you're drinking, but it can occur in individuals that have had too much to drink or have problems with alcohol disease, like alcohol substance abuse, because you can develop inflammations in your stomach called gastritis. You can also develop like ulcers from drinking too much. You can develop issues with your esophagus from drinking. It can also be a sign of inflammation in your pancreas or in your small intestines. It can be a sign of pancreatic cancer. It also can be a cause of swollen veins in the esophagus and stomach that happens with people with liver damage and those who have long-term alcoholism. And then his roommate said that he saw him that day and that he hadn't been drinking. And it seemed like, based on the 3 separate interviews, which I'll show you.
So he's technically like the landlord of the place?
Yeah, he rents out the rooms to all 3 of us.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I talked to him last night, and he seemed fine. He said he drank a lot, and he said he was going to stop this month, but I didn't ask him about it or anything.
What time do you think last night you talked to him?
Maybe like 7:30. It was right after I got home. I was making dinner, and he came and made his bagel bites, and we talked in the kitchen for a little bit.
Okay, so he was making bagel bites. You chatted with him.
Yeah.
What did he say to you? He just said that he was going to stop drinking this month?
That was like February 29th. That was like a few days before. He was like, I'm going to stop drinking in March. And then last night, it wasn't anything amiss. It just seemed like what we normally talked about, just like school and life and stuff. And
So he did have some alcohol issues?
yeah.
Do you know if he was
But-
going to any type of like counseling or anything for it?
No, I don't. Not that I know of. But he would like try and limit himself, like this month he was gonna try and go the whole month, and then I feel like when Lent started, he said he was gonna give it up for Lent, but I don't think that lasted.
Did he seem intoxicated last night when you talked to him?
No.
Not at all?
No, just, I mean, he drank a lot, but I've never been around like a heavy alcoholic, so I didn't know if it was super bad. Like, I'd hear him stumble sometimes, but he never like seemed too out of it. But I wasn't hanging out with him all the time,
Okay.
so I don't really know the extent of it. And I've only lived here less than a year, so.
One of the roommates said that he hadn't been drinking. One of the roommates said that he had a lot of shame about drinking and felt really awful about his drinking problems. And then another one of the roommates said that he told him that he was going to quit drinking this month and he was going to try not to drink at all. And they mentioned that he was drinking every day and stumbling around sometimes. And the interesting thing is that this place that they live is not a very big, it's not a very big townhouse. It has 4 bedrooms, and then it has a downstairs with a kitchen, or it has a downstairs and then it has like an upstairs. But there's not a lot of living space, like joint living space. And it appeared as though all of the roommates kind of coexisted in a landlord-tenant situation, other than his roommate, Addison, who is a guy. Cheyenne, the female, did say that she would have heart-to-heart talks with him at times and that he was very depressed.
Yeah, I would say we all knew, like, I knew Rob, yeah, mostly in passing. I mean, we would talk a little bit more in depth just about things that, just about, like, how he was struggling with drinking, and some of the shame that he held around that.
Okay.
And just, like, day-to-day, how's work going? Yeah, long-term, like, summer, like, plans as far as, like, what he planned to do with his work around summer.
What I'm gathering from the final text messages is that he had been struggling with ideation issues, and Janelle was aware of these issues to the extent that she was concerned that because he sent a message to his dad that night, that it was ominous. So you're estranged from this guy, you send a text message with a photograph from paintball, you're upset about, the loss that you're experiencing, and then your dad doesn't respond. So Kody never responded to the text message. None of the crew members responded to the text message. He didn't get a response from anyone other than Logan and his mom. So he sent a huge group text to all of these different people, and no one responded. And included in that is a message to Dayton, and Dayton never responded. He was trying to reach his father right before he dies, and his dad doesn't respond, doesn't say a word. And then all of the evidence from the scene that I was provided, there's no discussion about Kody. Kody is not at the scene. There is no interview with Kody. They don't call Kody, nothing. Kody never makes it there. Kody got a message from his son that he was estranged from. The same man that said that his son never contacted him, the same man that said that his sons had him blocked, the same man that said that he would talk to his kids if they reached out to him. Didn't respond. 8:04 is when he sends the text. 8:34 is when Janelle reaches out to him. By 8:45, he hasn't responded to them. He hasn't responded to Janelle. And his roommates hear the pop between 8:30 and 9. His very last thoughts before he pulled the trigger were about the loss that he had experienced in his life related to his father and to his siblings. It's heartbreaking. Seeing these text messages makes me feel even more like shattered that there's a man named Kody Brown that had the opportunity to respond to his son and didn't. That had the opportunity with an open dialogue to say something. I mean, I keep wondering, what if Kody would have responded that night? What if he would have said something? But he didn't. And then the day that he happens to be found by Gabriel, he doesn't go there. And some of you had asked, why was Gabriel sent? Gabriel was sent because they were afraid that he had died by suicide. And Logan didn't want Janelle to walk in on it. He didn't want Janelle or Savannah to walk in on it. So he sent Gabriel and told Gabriel to go check on him in case the worst had happened. That's why Gabriel was the one that was sent. Logan didn't want his mom to see him in that condition. All of them were afraid that he had done this, and unfortunately Garrison lied and maybe in a way gave them a false sense of security that there wasn't a firearm, but there was. It makes you wonder how things could have been different. Why didn't Kody respond? Kody had the opportunity to respond, and he didn't. Kody had the opportunity to say something, and he didn't. Dayton had the opportunity to say something, and he didn't. All of those family members and the crew had an opportunity to respond, and no one responded. It's tragic. And her last message before he's gone is, I'm sorry, there's been a lot of loss. Oh, honey, I'm sorry, there's been a lot of loss. And he said, that's true. That's true. He was thinking about loss before he died. It's hard to know if people in the family had placed boundaries with him due to his drinking, or if just people in the family were not talking to him because of what happened in the family. But regardless, there were 9 people in that group text and only 2 people responded to him that night. It appears that he sent a text message to his brother Gabe, his brother-in-law Caleb. He might have even contacted Christine because there's a CB in there. I don't know who the CB is. And nobody responded but Logan and Janelle, which also just makes me wonder how frequently these kinds of text messages were sent by him. But the fact that he sent that text to Kody was so much of a trigger to Janelle, probably because he never reached out to Kody. And then Kody didn't respond. And then Kody doesn't show up at the scene, but then Kody sits front row at his funeral. Kody couldn't be there for his son in the last moments of his life. He only showed up after and at the funeral. That's not a father. That's disgusting. The heartbreak this poor child must have been feeling. He didn't have to die this way. He clearly was struggling. The family knew he was struggling. They knew that this was a possibility, and no one got him help. It's such a tragic story. And he didn't get himself help. That's the thing. I'm heartbroken. I'll be sharing more videos later with some of the camera footage from the interviews with the roommates. But thank you so much for watching. Please leave some comments if you have any comments, and make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click on the bell so you never miss a video. Bye guys.